Alabama's got some problems. The big question is, can they be fixed before the Iron Bowl?
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama, AHSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson. That's me. Alabama Internet legend Jimmy Stein. That's him. This episode is brought to you by Game Time, and we want to thank you guys for helping making the Locked On Sports Network the number one podcast sports network there is. And Locked On Bama is a part of it because of you. We appreciate you guys so much. Jimmy had a little time to sleep on the game last night, watch some other games, all that good stuff for college football Saturday. Still very concerned. I mean, the kicking, it's just not as simple as, hey, slap in Peter Nataro, who I think is a great kid. I've told you I've got a roundabout connection to him. But I just don't want to throw him into Jordan-Hare Stadium and say, hey, go win it, kid. I mean, I don't know if that's fair. And then the quarterback. Look, you don't want to read too much into this. Gunnar Stockton also didn't throw a touchdown, also had an interception against Charlotte yesterday, also didn't look fantastic. You don't want to take anything too positive or too negative from Eastern Illinois at all. But I think we admit there is a trend here with Ty Simpson of played not so great against LSU, a little worse against Oklahoma, a little worse against Eastern Illinois, not a positive direction.
That's right. No, that's fair. And the biggest thing with Ty to me isn't the lack of making plays so much as it's the turnovers. I mean, that's been the second half of his season has been very turnover prone, too turnover prone. That's exactly how you lose football games you shouldn't, is turning over the ball, and Ty's been turning it over too much. 2 interceptions against Eastern Illinois. I mean, who saw that coming? But it happened. So now there's a big difference, though, between – I think there's a lot of concern about quarterback and kicker, just as you said in the open. But I think they're 2 different types. Now, I think we're going to need a psychologist this week as much as a coach for both spots. The big difference, though, to me, Luke, is that Ty has performed extremely well this season. There was even talk at one point that he might be the overall number 1 pick in the draft. That, not saying that was reality, but that there was some talk, and that talk would not exist unless you're playing really well. And he was. So Ty has played really well. Connor Talty has not been great the entirety of the season. I think it's been magnified down the stretch, but Connor just hasn't been great. Now, Connor has it in him. He can make kicks. I know this. How do we know this? We've seen him do it. He can make the kicks. He's got a great leg. I don't know how many of y'all noticed when the other kickers were kicking extra points. I mean, Connor's extra points are high. They're long. He's obviously got more leg than the other guys. That's why he's the kickoff guy, for instance. He was the kickoff guy even when Graham Nicholson was on the team last year. So Connor's got – there's a lot of leg there. He's just missing. And, again – it could come down to a kick at Jordan-Hare, and I think I just made a lot of y'all throw up in your mouth. But it literally could come down to a kick, and we've got to do something this week with Connor to where Connor feels good about that. And that's why I really wasn't a big fan of those boos. I don't think that didn't help. As a matter of fact, that hurt the situation because we've got to get Connor in a headspace where he can make a kick. I think too many people, like you said, Luke, too many people assume, just put in the next guy. That's if it was just put in the next guy, we probably would have already seen that guy before yesterday.
That's true. And look, as far as the boos go, Kalen DeBoer addressed it. Of course, he was like, look, I wish the fans would have his back like every player in our locker room has his back. And see, that's why the boos don't bother me, because I like the idea of the locker room getting his back and maybe he can come out and prove something. And also, what do you want the fans to do? Everybody go, that's okay. No problem. No, it's not what's going to happen. I mean, it's just not. And also, Alabama fans have notoriously been burned by kickers time and time and time again. I mean, we can talk about Van Tiffin's kick in the Iron Bowl. We can talk about Philip Doyle's kick in Tennessee in 1990. We can talk about Lee Tiffin making some big kicks. We can talk about Will Reichert making some big kicks. But in the end, when you think about Alabama and kicking, 2013, everybody just assumes we mean the last kick that led to the kick six. No, there were 3 other kicks in that game that were missed, if I remember right.
They were, and a lot of people won't remember this, but Cade Foster was actually the kicker. Adam Griffith kicked the quote kick six, but Cade Foster was the normal place kicker, and he missed badly. They felt Griffith had more range, or Griffith gave us a better chance to make a really long kick than Foster. So that's why they trotted Griffith out there, but he wasn't the normal kicker. He was the backup that season. And in fact, at one point, it's hard to believe watching that Auburn game, I think Cade went into the Auburn game a shocking 11 for 11 on the year and then missed 3 times in the Auburn game. But that's kicking. A couple of things about it. First of all, I think maybe replace the boos with grumbling or murmurs. If everyone's like murmur, that's just not as that's expressing disapproval without the boos. So maybe if we, as a group, if we could get grumble and murmur.
I got it. Take all the guys who sit on the front row of the basketball games with their arms crossed and look miserable and put them out there. Just put them on the Jumbotron every time after we miss a kick.
A look of disapproval. Well,
what's funny is the guys in the basketball games, they do this whether we're winning or not.
I like it.
You don't know what's happening.
Just a shot of that on the Jumbotron. That's good. That should replace the boos. But one thing about kicking, look, Connor's good in practice. And it is a little frustrating just imagine when the kicker is doing really well at practice. I guess as fans, we expect the coaches to know, but he's not going to be good in the game. That's a lot to put on the coach. Yeah, I know you work with him every day and he's really good and he looks great. And then when he doesn't perform well in the game Saturday, you're like, why is he the kicker? Well, at practice, he's really good. He was so good they didn't go into the portal. And this staff has proven that if the kicker's not good, they'll go to the portal. They went to the portal and got the Lou Groza Award winner when they thought they needed a kicker. But Connor had been really good in practice. There was no reason to believe that it wouldn't go great in the games. So now what's going to happen the next time a portal opens? Here's my guess. I wouldn't know. They don't send me the memos. But my guess is kicker is at the top of the list, I think, in the portal in January. That's my guess. But until then, Connor's the kicker. So let's, as DeBoer pleaded, let's get behind him. And we know we can make the kicks because he does it in practice. We've seen him make some kicks in the games.
As one of our friends pointed out on a group text, when he did make, I think, an extra point not too terribly long after his missed field goal, there was, quote unquote, the Bronx cheer, a very facetious, sarcastic, good job, from the crowd.
It was sarcastic, and it's funny how you can tell that it's sarcastic.
That is so funny that it's just the intonation. I don't even know how to replicate it, But to get that many people to do it at once, that's kind of talented. I'm with you on getting somebody to help him. But there are other warts on this team too. I just think that we've been burned so much by kickers, specifically in Auburn games, that we're like, oh God, we just can't do this anymore. Now, having said that, right off the top of my dome, and I know it's early in the morning, but I'm having trouble thinking of another game that Auburn really was affected by missed field goals by us. Can you think of one?
Not off the top of my head. I don't. Well, here's the thing about Alabama Auburn games. I'm sure this is not true. But
I can. 2019, we doinked one off the goalpost. I was there. I remember when it hit the goalpost and reverberated all through Lee County. I remember that. Yeah. Okay.
Wow. Now that you say a doink at Auburn, that does sound familiar. It just seems to me when we play Auburn that it's either close and they win, or it's a blowout and we win. It just feels that way to me. That's not true, and I know people are just hollering, "What about this year? What about this?" That's true. I'm just saying it just seems that way. Point being, let's play and it not come down to a kick. How's that for a plan? Let it not come down to a kick. Let's be good in the red zone on offense. We have been a good red zone team all year. We're a dominant red zone team on defense, but be good in the red zone and don't turn over the football. And I think Alabama's going to win by a couple of touchdowns. Don't turn it over. be good in the red zone, offense and defense, you'll win this game. Now, easier said than done.
Well, the whole Iron Bowl does feel like a Mandela effect. That people misremember stuff from the Iron Bowl and they put it in their heads. I mean, and I'm doing it right now talking about the field goals. Yes, I remember 2013 vividly. I also remember 2019 pretty well. As soon as I started thinking about it and going down the years, I remember, because we lost 48-45 that year. And then there's also things like we've also had some wins with kicks. I mean, Van Tiffen comes to mind.
Sure.
Philip Doyle kicked one in 90 that put the game out of reach for him. We've had some positives, and we've also had positives in special teams. I mean, shoot. Now, we lost the game, but if you remember, Jalen Waddle returned a kick for a touchdown against him. We also lost when Brandon Brooks returned a kick against him back in like 03 or something like that.
That's a
callback.
Number 5.
That's a callback.
He was number 5. Brooks. Yeah, good little dude, but boy, he could really run.
He could scoot.
One thing about Auburn, and obviously we're talking about Auburn all week. The best team usually wins this game. That's one of the things I'm relying on this week and my positivity. I'm going to be we're going to beat Auburn guy. Luke's going to be we're going to lose to Auburn guy. But here's the thing. The better team almost always wins this game. There have been upsets. This will be an upset for Auburn to win. They're trying to win their 6th game. Is that right? And be bowl eligible where Alabama's playing for a playoff spot. You can't say there's a bigger upset than that. I mean, they're just trying to get bowl eligible here. Alabama's trying to clinch a spot in the college football playoff. The better team over the years usually wins this football game. People that say on TV, you can tell it's usually the national guys. Well, when these two hook up, throw out the record books. They don't know what they're talking about. This is a game where you want to keep all the record books because the better team usually wins this. Crazy things happen, but upsets are somewhat rare.
Yeah, that is true. And the other thing is, I think what gives Alabama fans some PTSD about this is, number one, we just missed a kick against a team. It was a chip shot. You got to make that, okay? Number one. And number two, the spread is hovering somewhere around 3.5 to 4.5, so essentially a field goal. And Alabama, the last 2 times they've won in Jordan-Hare Stadium, they needed a gravedigger. They needed an unbelievable, masterful performance by Bryce at the end to win it. So, when you add in close games, the spread's about a field goal, and we just missed a chip shot. Yeah, I can see why people are getting a little bit antsy. Wayfair. So happy to have Wayfair back on board with us today. Love us some Wayfair. And they're just a great product, great everything. So the holiday season is right around the corner, and that means it's time to get your home ready. Whether you need more seating for guests, cozy new linens, or fun serveware for holiday hosting, Wayfair's Black Friday sale is here here to help you make your space shine. And the best part, you don't have to wait. Wayfair's Black Friday's deals are happening all month long with up to 70% off, man. 70%. They're practically giving it to you. Don't miss out on any of the Black Friday deals. Head to wayfair.com. That's WAYFAIR.com to shop now. Wayfair's Black Friday sale for up to 70% off. That's WAYFAIR. Sale ends December 7th. That's Wayfair. Go check them out. Jimmy Stein guarantee. So the bigger question, though, Jimmy, is quarterback.
Yep.
And Ty has gone from being a very divisive quarterback amongst the fan base to pretty much universally loved. And as you said, I mean, sort of the Heisman leader, some mock drafts. This isn't you and me talking. Some mock drafts had him going as either number 1 or number 2, at least number 1 or number 2 quarterback going in the draft.
Just last week or 2 weeks ago, Mel Kiper and Field Yates had him going number 3, and Matt Miller from ESPN had him going number 5. Those are as credible mocks as there are out there, whether you like those guys or not. They are highly credible mocks.
So, but as we've mentioned several times now, his play has begun to take a dip. He's regressed to a degree. He is also seemingly throwing balls much higher. He's missing targets where he was deadly accurate. Now he seems to be missing dudes. And it just feels like you can't tell because we're not talking to the guy every day or any day, but you can just see it on the field where it seems like he's distracted. And maybe he is. Again, these kids are in college. They have a lot of stuff on their minds. What if, again, I'm throwing this out there. What if some of the draft talk and some of the Heisman talk got to him, not in a, well, I'm the best guy there is kind of way, but in a, oh my God, the spotlight is squarely on me now kind of way.
Imposter syndrome. I'm not the guy they're talking
Yeah,
about.
imposter syndrome. What is that a real thing? If not, you should make it.
No, that's a thing. That's a thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know it's a thing. That's basically what my whole life is. But
Ty's one of us.
I didn't know if it was a real term. I like that. Boy, we've used Mandela effect and imposter syndrome in the same podcast.
Get that on another Bama podcast.
You're not going to do it.
You won't.
So maybe all those things come into play. Again, their college students could be having a problem with a friend, could be having a problem with his parents, could be having a problem with anything. We don't know. And I mean, I know this goes for pros and stuff too, but pros are a little bit different because I promise you in the pros, they do have guys, they probably do have counseling where you can go in there and talk to whoever you want to. And the whole thing is focused on that. You don't have to study for anything else. You don't have to study for an algebra test. Yes, I took very easy math in college, but nothing like that. So I'm not giving him a pass. He's obviously regressing. And it sucks that, okay, you've been regressing. Now we all expect you to progress, and you have to do it in Jordan-Hare Stadium, and you have to do it against a crowd that hates us, and you have to do it at night, and you have to do it on national TV, and you have to do it while Auburn is playing for a bowl game, and this is 100% their Super Bowl. I don't care what they say, and we're playing for a playoff spot, and they'd like nothing better than to keep us out of the playoffs.
That's true. We're going to hear that a lot this week. It's Auburn's Super Bowl. I'll remind everyone that now recently this hasn't been the case, but many times in the Super Bowl, one team plays really bad. That happens. Just because it's a Super Bowl doesn't mean that both teams play their best game of the year. In fact, many teams don't play their best at all in the Super Bowl. The stage is not only too bright, the team you're playing against is like really good or they wouldn't be there. So that's a thing in the Super Bowl. It doesn't guarantee that you're going to play great. As to Ty and get into our psychological breakdown of him, which I'm sure is fascinating, especially to him and his people, but our psychological breakdown of Ty. Look, all these guys get nervous. I know that's kind of hard to imagine because they're athletes performing at this high level on a field where you would think football's their escape, football's their comfort, but they're also nervous. They're all nervous. Some of the great performers in the world, Beyonce, I've heard Beyonce herself say, I get so nervous when I'm performing. And you're like the greatest performer that's ever lived. What are you talking about? You don't look nervous, and she doesn't look nervous. But
you're bootylicious. Exactly. What are you talking about? Who can say they're bootylicious and then be nervous about it?
I don't know, Proctor. But Ty gets nervous out there, as they all do. And I think your nerves can lift you. Ask Michael Jordan, Beyonce, the greats. I mean, their nerves lift their performance. Sometimes the nerves can get too much, and then the nerves are out there performing, not you. And I wonder if that's just the case with Ty, who's a high anxiety type player. I think it lifted him for a portion of the season, might be sort of burying him. And now he's just got to conquer that this week. How can you do that? By having success. I think success that he could have on the practice field and in the game, the successes is what will bring him out of this funk. Just complete some good, solid throws in the first quarter. I think he'll be fine.
I'm going to take it a step further. Here's what I think needs to happen. I do not want this to happen because I can't survive it. And unfortunately, I believe I'm going to the game. Every time I go there, I swear I'm never coming back, not even to go to Tiger Town and go to the Target or nothing. But even when we win, I'm like, it's too much for me. I just don't enjoy this. And inevitably, I have a friend that hates me enough to invite me to go. So I'm going to take it a step further. I think it's going to be more than he has to have a good drive at a random spot. I think it would be good for Ty if we're down by 7 points and it's let's say 7-3, it's 4 points or whatever. And Ty has to lead us on a touchdown drive sometime, even in the first half, for us to take the lead to show he can do this. I think it's easy if you lead a drive and you get up 7-0, get up 10-0, whatever, and you're like, okay, I mean, I can do this, but what if the chips are on the line? Chips on the table. I think that's the thing. And so I would like to see him have to bring us back from the depths a little bit.
Well, that's going to be a big ask. I mean, the environment's going to be crazy. It's going to be a big ask, but I think first things first, they practice today, or really today is more of I think really it's more of an Eastern Illinois autopsy is what they sort of do on Sundays, as opposed to, okay, let's dive into Auburn. That really starts Monday with the coaches and Tuesday with the team. But I do think practice, you got to have good days of practice. I love to think Kalen DeBoer said yesterday in his post-game interview, I'm not sure everybody saw this, but on the field, his post-game interview with ESPN Plus coming off the field, DeBoer said he loved their preparation for this week, and that's what he cares about the most. Boy, what a coach thing to say. That what he was really focused on is the preparation, because if the preparation isn't good, then Saturday's not going to be good, period. So I like how he said our preparation all week was great, and that's what I really care about the most. I'm going to remember that quote, because DeBoer's not too quotable, in my opinion. He's not the most quotable guy. Our last guy, there's going to be some encyclopedia of his quotes one day, but so it's an unfair comparison. But I'll remember that DeBoer said that, because I think that was impactful, meaningful, and it means a lot this week. You're going to win in Auburn because of what you do on the practice field in Tuscaloosa Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
That's a great quote. You're right. He's not a very quotable dude. How about some game time? Y'all know I love game time. Use it all the time. College football is here. Couldn't be more excited. The tailgates, the rivalries, and the energy in the stands. There's just nothing like it. But let's be real. Actually getting tickets can feel more like a battle than the game itself. Endless queues, hidden fees, prices jumping up at checkout. Who wants to deal with that? That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to the fans. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets at the best prices with no surprise fees. What you see is what you pay with Game Time. So take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege. That's all one word. For $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply because they apply to everything. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege, $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today and be happy about it. Okay, so I thought we'd take a bit of a bird's eye view of the college football playoff and where things stand right this minute. Again, infamously, Notre Dame was ahead of us last week. I don't see any. I mean, my hope is the committee does what's right. I mean, everybody, it seems like universally, except Notre Dame, people are saying Alabama should be ahead of Notre Dame. I'm hoping the committee says we made a mistake last week, and here's how we're fixing it. And also USC, Notre Dame's best win, lost. They moved down the rankings. Their win against USC is no better than, say, Alabama's win against Tennessee. They have the same records. And, in fact, I would probably argue Tennessee might be a little bit better than USC.
Tennessee's going to be ranked higher. Tennessee will be ranked higher than USC this week.
Well, I thought so, too. On CBS, they actually had USC one spot above them on their projections. Okay. But I think you're right. I think it's splitting hairs either way. But that's Notre Dame's best win. That's like our third or fourth best win. So, I mean, I think that should count for something.
Notre Dame's second best win is probably Pitt, who's good. Pitt is good. Look what they did to Georgia Tech. Pitt's good, but they're not. They wouldn't be Alabama's second best win.
No. Pitt looked. I enjoyed watching Pitt last night, by the way. I don't know why. I mean, like, I just like I harkened back to some Dan Marino days, the way that they were looking. And Georgia Tech, man, they just shot themselves right in the old.
Yeah, could have clinched the ACC. Now I don't know. I'm fascinated as to ACC theory. And here's my thing about the playoffs. I'm going to scare everybody to death here, but I'm not going to bring up a doomsday scenario like Josh Pate does, which are always fun. But no, this is just a fact. Right now, Alabama is the fifth SEC team. The fifth. You got A&M, you got Georgia, you got Ole Miss. Who am I missing? Somebody significant.
Texas A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama. Who are you missing? Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, of course, Oklahoma. Okay, that's what I was missing. And we're behind Oklahoma. We have to be. We lost head-to-head. So that's why we're the 5th SEC team.
You don't. By the way, you don't have to be because you lost head-to-head. Miami and Notre Dame proved that, which is nothing that pisses me off. But okay.
Yeah, but I think you lost head-to-head, and Oklahoma doesn't have a loss as bad as Florida State. I mean, their losses are better losses, and they beat us head-to-head, and their strength of schedule is really good. So I've got no problem being behind Oklahoma. I get that. So you're the 5th SEC team. The only way 5 SEC teams can make this field is if the ACC is a 1-bid league, the Big 12 is a 1-bid league, and the Big 10 is a 3-bid league. You can't have a 4th Big 10 team getting in. And you're like, how's a 4th Big 10 team going to get in? Michigan beating Ohio State. That's how. Yeah. We don't need that happening. We need for the Big 10 to be stuck at 3, and that's fine. Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon. We need the Big 12 to be 1 team, Texas Tech, and we need the ACC to be the ACC champ and not plus Miami. Okay, because Miami's not going to win the ACC. I don't even know if they can get in the championship game. I think they're a long shot to do that. Maybe Tech losing yesterday helped. Don't know. We're going to look into that today. Point being, that's how precarious Alabama's spot is as the 5th SEC team. You can only have to get 5 in from the SEC. That means 1 from the ACC, 1 from the Big 12, 3 from the Big 10, and that's it. Because Notre Dame's getting in, and a group of 5 teams getting in. So that's how precarious the spot is. And boy, the nightmare scenario really to me is BYU. If BYU gets to the Big 12 championship game, it looks like they are, and they beat Texas Tech and get the automatic entry, what's the committee going to do with Texas Tech versus Alabama? One of them's out.
Well, I mean, honestly, again, I'm looking at it from a logical standpoint, just like last year, and thinking, okay, we should be in over SMU, but they didn't do it that way. I think we should be in over Texas Tech, and I mean, I know they'll have 2 losses. Well, in your scenario, I'm assuming we lose in the SEC title game.
Well, so obviously, that would mean Alabama's an at-large and not an automatic qualifier.
So we're 10-3.
You got to beat
our
Auburn.
10-3 is better than their 11-2. I mean, schedule-wise, by every metric except the actual, they have 1 more win, we have 1 more loss. That's it.
Well,
I know.
That was significant to the committee last year.
I know.
That was significant to the committee last year, and they put in SMU over Alabama. This Texas Tech team, by the way, is better than SMU's team last year. I believe that just on the eyeball test.
I believe that.
And metrics. This Texas Tech team is loaded with some first-round guys, and they bought a heck of a roster. They'll even tell you they're proud that they did. Yeah, but that's kind of the nightmare scenario, and in a second ACC team, and Michigan beating Ohio State would be a problem. Because at that point,
Michigan only have 2 losses.
Oklahoma, they only have 2 losses, and then they would have that incredible win over number 1, and boy, it would be tough keeping them out.
It would be tough to keep them out. I'll tell you what you do. I wouldn't. If I were Michigan, I wouldn't be worried in that scenario. If I were Oregon, I'd be worried in that scenario. Their best win is clearly USC, and that's it. And what if USC loses to UCLA at the end?
Correct, but Oregon's ahead of Alabama. So
I know. I know. I hear what you're saying. I hear everything you're saying. My hope is the committee looks at this rationally, which is a horrible way to assume because they didn't obviously use rationale last week or last year.
I hope Hunter Yurachek leads off his comments Tuesday with, did you see that Alabama rushed for 280 yards against Eastern Illinois? They rushed for 280 yards.
Please do that. Yes. Please.
That was just for you, Hunter. That game plan, just for you.
8 touchdowns rushing. I mean, they ought to be Rugiet ready in that committee room after watching that. All right.
They obviously watch a lot of Service Academy football. They love running the damn ball in the football playoff committee.
By the way, Rugiet, come on back to the sponsorships, bro.
Just when we were getting super comfortable with those ads.
I don't know if I was ever super comfortable with them, but I enjoyed them. It was fun. And I'm going to tell you something. The marketing works. When I would see people, they would say something about Rugiet every time. So, all right. That's going to do it for today's pod. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Until then, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.